an open Smith. Steve Smith is going to go all the way. No flags down. Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
With the first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young, quarterback, Alabama.
And she loses the football. Scooped up by Burns. Brian Burns to the house.
Welcome to the Stop Capping Sports Podcast.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
Welcome back to the Stop Capping Sports Podcast. I am your host, Dean. We are here with Seth, John, and James.
What's going on?
How we doing this evening?
Well, good job. Good job. What an interrupt. Great job, guys. Before we even get going, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Let's get your beers ready. Today is a gin type of day. I don't really have any beers, so I got to go straight in. What are you sipping on, Sethy Poo?
Coors Banquet.
Okay.
Oh, he didn't get to hear that conversation yesterday.
No, he missed that one last week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep him cold, keep him stocked.
Said I was going to keep them stocked. I got them stocked. I got 2 cases.
Well, I'm not really ready for some gin right now, but I don't even have anything to mix it with. I'm just going gin straight to the head. Just 'cause why not? You know what I mean? Why not? So, anyway, so I did miss. What divisions was it, guys?
NFC
NFC.
and West.
NFC East and the NFC West.
There's one of those in the NFL. 2 divisions. So,
All right, so
I can't remember.
I'll go through my records real quick and predictions, just to kind of recap real quick before we get started on this episode. Had some really bad weather, major storm coming through here in South Florida. Typical. Internet dropped, all that stuff, so it's nice and fun. But we'll start with the NFC East here. I had the Eagles at 13-4. I have the Redskins. I have the Washington Commanders that will probably be the Redskins again at some point. I have them at 11-6. I have the Cowboys at 10-7 and the Giants at 4-13. They're gonna have another rough year. I know they have a lot of defensive additions, and I like a lot of they picked up the corner from the Saints, Adebo or whatever. He's going to add to that secondary, and then obviously they drafted really, really well. They have one of the best D lines in the league, but offensively there's still a lot of questions, and maybe they can be better than that. But these are just really early predictions, and I could probably give them a couple more wins, but here we are. We're just going to stick with what we had earlier in the preseason. I ended up also giving on the NFC West, I gave the 49ers a 13-4 record, and this is before the Matthew Stafford back injury. I gave them a 13-4 record. Here we go. So now I look like an idiot. The Seahawks 7-10, and I have the Cardinals at 5-12. I do not think the Cardinals will be that good this year. I won't go through too much. The guys kind of broke down all the teams. Those are just happens to be the records that I have put in place there. But yet, I have a tie at the top, 13-4, and then the Eagles 13-4 for the NFC East. So that's my quick little run through of those 2 divisions. But without any further ado, before we get going on the AFC East and West, or North and South, we have some Carolina Panthers stuff to talk about here. There was a big preseason game. Shedeur Sanders kind of did his thing against some of the starters, and most of it was a second, third string defense. But those starters, we held them to nothing, but there was some opportunities there to drive. I'm not going to just keep rambling here. I will get back in, but one of you guys, I'll let you guys talk a little bit about what you guys saw from the preseason game from the Panthers against the Cleveland Browns at home. What you guys got? James, you can go ahead.
I think we all wanted to see the first team offense. First, plays there were a little dicey, but get to see Tet get involved early. I know he missed a touchdown. Wasn't expecting the pass from Bryce, but it was a dot. He threw it right in there. My biggest takeaway, Dean, me and you talked about it, and I said it could be a big thing going forward, is seeing Coker's name called so early.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. We were big on him last year, undrafted free agent out of Holy Cross. Really showed some shine last year, and to see his name just called early, because we saw what happened with Xavier Leggett and the struggles he had last year. And then you go into this game and you kind of just, pointless confrontation, getting in a fight on the field, coming from a guy that was, our first round pick last year, was supposed to be, our one, going into last year, and he struggled. But to see another guy step up, we didn't have Renfro out there. Obviously, we want to see him on the field. Saw a little bit of Thielen, but seeing, somebody outside of Tet and the younger, group really step up and really kind of, get his number called early was a big thing for me, because I really like Coker and I like the direction he can go.
Right.
Yeah,
John?
no, I agree. Coker played well. Bryce Young, second drive, they really executed. Started off with a beautiful deep ball on the far perimeter. Tet right underneath, right in the breadbasket. Very good ball adjustment with the ball in the air as well. Make sure you got his feet in bounds. Make sure secure the catch at the point. Realistically, the one thing I was the most excited about, more than obviously that second drive that we had offensively, we did come out of the game relatively healthy. We didn't have any major injuries like some other teams across the league had to deal with in the first preseason game. So I thought coming out healthy was very, very important for us. And then for me, the most impromptu play of the game, right? Our second round defensive end pick, I think he ran like 74 yards to get that sack, which is insane when you think about it on one play. The dude literally ran 3/4 of the field just chasing down a quarterback. Now, should he have had him a lot sooner? Yes, he got broke, right? He got shook. But just seeing the hustle, right? That's the one thing I liked out of that more than anything else. I mean, the dude, he never gave up on that play. He continued to pursue. And for a rookie to do that, I think that was very impressive. Just the overall hustle, work ethic to get and stay involved in the play. And it turned into a sack for him. I know I sent y'all the PFF grades. I think he rated the highest PFF grade on the roster for all of our rookies in week one. So definitely impressive. I think he had 2 pressures, 1 sack, and a tackle for a loss or a tackle. I'm not sure what it was. But a very good game for him overall. And then, like I said, health was the biggest thing for me. We came out healthy, so I was excited. Seth, what's your thoughts?
We could definitely tell that Leggett has been putting in some training, some boxing training. He definitely got a good combo snuck in there. Don't really understand what all that was about. I saw a film clip from the opposite sideline from what we were seeing on TV. Just sort of going into the end of that play, I don't really understand what caused XL to react the way he did. I didn't see anything that was out of the ordinary, other than the guy maybe kept his hands on him a little bit longer than normal. So I was a little bit confused about that. I thought maybe to start with, when I saw it, I was like, that dude had to be holding him like, face mask. I saw the hand on the face mask. Thought maybe he was holding it throughout that duration of the play. But based on that film footage or fan film footage that I saw from the opposite sideline, that didn't appear to be the case. So not really sure what caused all that. It's definitely sort of a bad look. I think XL's even said that, he's waiting, expecting the fine to come. If they give him per punch, he got 3 punches in there. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people, I want to defend XL on this one a little bit. A lot of people say, why would you even try to hit him? He's got a helmet on. Look, when you're out there, those things don't really run through your head. I hit a guy directly in the face mask, square in the face mask with a crossbar and everything. I hit him square in that face mask, right in front of a referee on the sideline, right in front of my sideline bench and everything before. I didn't care. I just popped the dude right in the face mask. Hey, if I'm crazy enough to hit you with your helmet on, you probably don't want to mess with me when you have it off. So I sort of feel that way with XL too. I think XL would have tore that guy up. And I know a lot of people ragging on XL because he got sort of drugged down there at the end, but dude had him by his face mask. So it was sort of disadvantage anyway. Yeah. But anyway, to move on from that, definitely Jalen Coker. I'm a Coke head. So Jalen Coker, big outing there. A lot of people were like, is he even going to make the team? Right. I've never been one of those people. I think Coker definitely deserves to be on this team and make this roster. I think he's one of the top receivers that we have. I think because he went undrafted, because he went to a small school, he's definitely been overlooked. But I think the skill set and how he combats defensive backs, he uses his body and he's able to sort of push back on the defensive backs to get in the position that he needs to be in to catch the ball. Like a lot like Thielen. Like that's what makes Thielen good, is he knows how to use his body to shield his body and put his body in between the ball and the defender. I think Thielen's very good at that. He's also, I think, proven that he has probably one of the best sets of hands on the team. Mm-hmm. They just showed him high pointing the ball in practice this week, middle of the field. He's just got great hands. I'm glad to see that he's getting getting his props, especially out of games like that. XL being ejected definitely helped. It helped Coker to come in, but I think he showed that he can do that. I was a little disappointed that we didn't see a little bit more from Jimmy Horn, especially with the first team. And, of course, Hunter Renfrow not being in there, which I was upset about that at FanFest, him not being out there, which, I know they're trying to take it easy coming back from this injury or this little soft tissue hamstring deal. But, just a little – there's some disappointment there, too, from the defense. I thought the defense should have done a little bit better, especially first team. I know it wasn't – we didn't allow touchdowns in that first team defense, but I still thought we should have done better than what we did. So I was really looking for a little bit more from the defense on that. My boy Princely, I still think he's I still think he's better than Scorton, or can be better than Scorton, but he did not show it in this game. He got sort of washed out in this game to me. What's our boy defensive back Thornton? Mm-hmm. Big surprise there. A lot of camp buzz coming out of him the past week or two. And then he showed out during this game, so that was a big positive, playing in place of J.C. Horn. Really like to see that, because the corner depth, secondary depth was one of our big things, and that 100%. That looked pretty good as far as that was concerned.
Right.
Those are my probably biggest takeaways. Oh, and I don't really like our kickers.
No, we need the guy from Jacksonville.
Yeah,
right.
My God,
crazy, bro.
That was nuts.
Yeah,
and apparently they're not bringing in any more competition. They say that they have NFL kickers on this roster.
Oh, interesting. So, I mean, they just went like 2 for 4 or 2 for 6 in today's practice on the skinny post, and they said out of the 4 misses, I think he said none of them would have made it in regulation, or at least 3 of the 4 would not have made it on regulation kicks.
Wow. So it's not even skinny post.
That's rough.
Not even the skinny post. They're saying he's missing that far. So he's an NFL kicker, I guess. So that's a concern for us.
I mean, I guess because they're signed to an NFL team, that makes him an NFL kicker. So technically he's not wrong, but
I mean, so I guess Karis Marshall's not an XFL receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't make it in the NFL. Yeah, right. Not yet. No. Exactly.
Not yet.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and just do this real quick.
Talk about Jalen. He had a good year for you last year, but then you bring in T-Mac first round and Hunter Renfrow. I think maybe a lot of us thought maybe he's on the bubble at this point, but I mean, has he made enough plays to make this team, and how do you feel like he's done this?
I mean, hopefully, up to now, like, we're going to play the best guys, and the guys that we can count on, the guys that make plays, the guys that make the catch. At a good is when you throw it to them, they catch it. And Jalen has really showed to be one of the more reliable guys that we have. Whether it's contested or he's open in space, he plays strong to the ball. And he had 2 really amazing plays in a go ball where he went up over JT Broughton and kind of took it, off of his shoulder and finished the play finished on his feet and ran the ball into the end zone. And you keep showing us like that, he's going to be on the field playing. There's no doubt about it. So, we love all of our guys. I have high hopes for this group in general, but that's the nature of competition. And that's what it does is all of a sudden you see people elevate and rise and really show who they are.
So, yeah, I wanted to show that because you guys were just talking about Jalen Coker, one of our lone bright spots, I guess, on the day, because the first drive was kind of a wash. I know Dave Canales was not calling the plays. Jarrell Vera was not calling the plays on defense. So we had like our positions coaches and our quarterbacks coaches and all that stuff. And technically, I guess, Isaac, I guess that's his name, right? He's the offensive coordinator. So he was calling plays. But that first drive kind of was a wash. We had the handoff, and then we had the one opportunity where Bryce had some pressure on the edge, a little bit up the middle, and he had like a little bit of an off-balance throw, threw it a little bit behind Chuba Hubbard, incomplete. And then the third down play, there was a sack. The drive's over. Second drive was when the Xavier Leggett thing you guys were talking about. They were throwing hands, and then it was almost immediate. Jalen Coker comes in and just kind of takes over for the rest of the drive. And you're seeing those words from Dave Canales. He's pretty much, to me, he's putting some pressure on Xavier Leggett to say, you got to catch the football when the ball's thrown to you. He said, old wise person said, you can tell a good receiver when you throw them the football and they catch the football. It's pretty simple, right? If you don't catch the football, what are we doing? You can, some guys just can't get good separation, but you put that ball anywhere near them, they're going up and it's their football. Some guys get great separation. You throw the football, they can be wide open. If they drop it, what does it matter? It doesn't matter how good they run a route. It doesn't matter how athletic they are. It doesn't matter how fast they are. None of that matters. If you're not going to catch the football, finish the play, what good is it? Yeah. Right? Yeah. So right now, I do feel that there's a little bit of pressure from Dave here in that video, saying this guy is constantly making plays. He was a huge playmaker for us last year. He's already throughout camp. He's now in the first preseason game. Boom, he's making plays. He had a crazy catch in practice where he went up over top. I think, he was talking about it in that video. He goes up over top of the defender. He catches it. He turns, and he falls into the end zone. Wish we had that in Denver last year before that interception that Bryce threw. But, he didn't attack the ball with the same aggressiveness that he did in that practice this year. But, hey, he was a rookie. He was week 7. Now we've got Jalen Coker really looking like he's comfortable in the offense, looking like he's ready to go play as a major piece to this offense. Considering the depth that we have, that's a tough ask. There's a lot of guys to come in and compete with for an undrafted guy. Thielen is an undrafted guy. He's made a career of just, working from the bottom up and then making a name for himself. And Jalen Coker appears to potentially be falling in line with that same mentality and that same trajectory, getting in there, really just showing up and making plays when his number's called. And eventually they can't not call your number. Like, if he's not making mistakes. So eventually they just can't stop calling your number. So this could be a week 6, week 7 type thing. And we're looking at it's Tet and Coker as your number 1, your number 2, and then you have a rotation of Renfro and Thielen and Horn as your slot guys. They got to go to this youth movement. We have the vets. We're clearly not set up to go and win a Super Bowl this year, right? Maybe next year. No, I was kidding. But we're not there yet. So this youth movement.
Oh, wait, do you see my record? No.
7-2.
No.
So that's just kind of my quick takeaways offensively. Defensively, it's hard to really tell exactly what it is that we have in Scorton. He was playing against the backups, but so was Umami Yellen, and Umami Yellen couldn't do anything. Umami Yellen was getting completely bodied. At least Scorton showed that he can beat a backup in the NFL. So was kind of a little bit of a concern. I mean, we're talking in the fourth quarter, his third and fourth stringers, and this guy is yet to get a pressure. Like he's not even in the play. So that's a concern for me. Scorton, at least in the second quarter, first quarter, was at least doing some things against the better players that were on the field this week. So I'm okay. I'm curious to see what they look like this week in the joint practice against the Texans. I'm curious to see what they're going to look like in the game against the Texans. I'm curious who the Texans are going to start. We don't know that information yet. It makes it a little difficult. I know that Dave Canales did say that we are going to be getting an extra drive out of our guys. So instead of 2 drives, it'll be 3 drives. He wants to get more rhythm going and to see exactly what we have, right? Like we have a lot of things we still need to work out, clearly. Your number 2 receiver is throwing hands in the middle of the field on the second drive. There's a lot of things we need to work out. There's a lot of things we need to see from Xavier Leggett to understand exactly what it is that we have in Xavier Leggett. He was a first-round investment. I know they want to see him in game. They want to see him play, and they want to see him perform. So that's a huge thing for me, and I think that's a huge thing for all the Panthers fans is to see exactly what Xavier Leggett is. What was that investment, and was it worth it? So I know that they are scratching at the bits, gnawing at the bits to get him out there, to put him in positions to succeed. He's just got to stay on the damn field. And, I know that this isn't a part of like this isn't like something that he does. This isn't like Xavier Leggett actions. Like this has never happened. He's never been kicked out of a game. He did in college. He was, a good sport. So this is completely out of left field. When I saw that he was throwing hands, I was like, what the heck? I know John had some concerns early this week, about the fact that he was thrown out of the game. He can speak on that if he wants to, but the big thing with that, to me, I said is, it's not like this guy's got a resume of being some problem child out there on the field, right? Hurting the team. So I'm going to give him a pass. It's the preseason, but at what point, are we going to start to hold him accountable with his play? And then if that starts to become a part of his personality with the pressure that he has right now, just to even get reps, now we've got a whole nother big problem on our hands, right? I do not see that as an issue. I will take his word for it. He seems like a very high integrity person. So, he says it's not going to happen again. I'm taking his word for that. I don't think he's a Steve Smith head case, just out here looking for problems.
I don't think you want him to be.
Big boy.
I don't think you want him to be.
Yeah. No, he didn't care. He had some scars on his knuckles. I mean, he must have split his hands through the gloves when he was landing on the side of that face mask. So I noticed that in his presser. But I think he's going to be all right mentally. My thing is just, we got to get him out there. We got to get him those reps. We got to be able to see him catch the football. Again, Dave Canales just said it in the presser. Got to see these guys catch the football. So like I said, like you guys mentioned, 31, Thornton, right? Thornton, that's his last name.
Corey Thornton.
Balled out all game.
Undrafted free agent.
All game. Another undrafted guy. It looks like we're almost better at undrafted than we are in draft. So another undrafted stud. So hey, as long as we're getting the talent somewhere, whatever. At this point, we just got to get the talent. All right. Yeah. So just get the sloppy seconds and then make it work. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm pleased to see that. We didn't get to see a lot from Ransom. I was hoping to see more from Ransom, but they had him at free safety. He's not a free safety. He's a strong box safety. Like he needs to be a strong safety. I'm not sure why they have him out there at free safety. So you're not going to see that guy as much, and you're really limiting him. And this is that Ajero Vera defensive scheme that had Jeremy Chin playing a nickel instead of playing strong safety. It's the same guy who had Frankie Louvu playing inside linebacker instead of outside linebacker when he's a pass rusher. The reason he left the Carolina Panthers is because the Washington Redskins or Washington Commanders, whatever, were allowing him to play more freely. So these are the things that our defensive coordinator continuously, time and time again, fails to put guys in the positions of strength. I'm not a freaking head coach. I'm just a person that uses his eyes. But at this point, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like even the players are saying, like, I don't want to be in this position. They're leaving the team because of the way that he's putting these guys on the field. Ransom is not a free safety. He is a strong safety. He's a hitter. He's a box guy. You don't put him just out there in space. You're wasting his talent. Like, so it is what it is. We'll see how the rest of this preseason go. I know we're jumping the gun. It is just one preseason game, but I'm going to express my discomfort with the fact that we drafted a guy, missed out on Xavier Watts that we could have had as a free safety, who was more of a free safety from Notre Dame, and we go and draft a guy who's a legit, true, strong safety, and then want to move him to free safety. He's clearly out of position. So it is what it is. We'll see how the rest of this season, how the rest of this preseason goes. But without further ado, we'll get into our predictions for the AFC North and our AFC South. But before, if you have not yet started following, go to Stop Capping Podcast on Facebook, Stop Capping Podcast on Instagram, Stop Capping Pod on Twitter /X, Stop Capping Podcast here on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, be notified when you hit that bell that we are in fact posting. We do have the potential of going live. So if you're subscribed, you will get to see those live reaction videos that we have whenever we're raging after we lose to the Saints this year. So get prepared. We better not, dude. I will be going live.
We got a problem to lose that one.
Yeah. So let's get into it. AFC North. You want to hit the North or the South first?
Go North.
Go whichever one.
All right.
We start with the North.
All right. Well, John, do you want to go ahead and start him off?
Yeah, so it looks like we got the Browns schedule up.
Browns, that's what I meant.
Browns.
So, yeah, good old Cleveland Browns. I got them going 2-15. This team is not built to compete. They have no quarterback whatsoever. They got, Joe Flacco at 40 years old. They have him at QB4. And do I think Shador starts eventually? Yes, I do. But Joe Flacco at 40 years old is a week one starter. Then you got Kenny Pickett, who was a backup last year in Philadelphia as your QB2. And you got two rookies behind that. I got them going 2-15. I got them with a win at the Las Vegas Raiders and then a win versus the Steelers. Those are the two wins that I gave them. But like I said, they're 2-15. I don't trust much, if anything, on this roster. Defensively, I think they got some really good players. Units, a lot to behold, so we'll see how that goes. But realistically, I think this team is going to be in contention for the 101 in the 2026 NFL Draft. And right now, until they solidify that quarterback position, I think this team is going to continue to struggle in the coming seasons when it comes to winning football, especially when you factor in the division that they do play football in. But like I said, I got them going 2-15. I'm not high on them. I have them with the second worst record in the NFL, only behind one other team. So that's where I got the Cleveland Browns finishing for 2025.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and chime in. Same record, 2-15. A lot of things you just said. Now, this is one of the teams that may change depending on how Shador plays throughout the preseason. I want to see a little bit more Shador Sanders. But I agree, man, there's too many problems. You got the Quinton Judkins issue. You don't really know who's going to be running the ball. Jerome Ford, you saw him last year. He's not much. Just the quarterback situation is dicey for me. I think they have, two talented receivers and, Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman, but you still need some more from Cedric Tillman. Tight ends can't stay healthy. David Njoku seems like he's hurt every single season. So it's just it's a wait and see for them. But I do want to see more out of Shador because I did like what I saw against Carolina. Yes, it was against the second, third, whatever. A little bit against the first team, whatever. Panthers' depth is terrible. So that's not much to speak for. But it's something I'll pay attention to throughout the preseason. And maybe this is a team that kind of changed my mind because I think the defense is still going to be good, but offensively, I just don't think they can compete. So yeah, 2-15.
Yeah, I have them going 7-10. I think the team has proved that they can sort of ride this defense no matter who's at quarterback. And with the running game, assuming stuff gets worked out with Judkins. And Sampson looked okay the other night. They had a lot of praise for him too. Wasn't really running with the first offensive line. So I think this team would be Myles Garrett, pieces on defense. As long as Myles Garrett can keep his speed down and not get any more tickets, I think that the defense can do enough to keep them in games, and they'll stumble upon some wins. I got them 7-10. I do have them losing the first 5 before picking up wins, before picking up a win, and then I have them going on a 5-game win streak after that before taking another L. Yeah, losing streak. Sorry. And so I think 7-10 is probably reasonable for this team. I think that's somewhere in there. That's where they're going to end up falling.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna be more on where John and James are at. I think they're gonna. I have a 2-15 as well. I just don't think the team is good. The defense can carry. I mean, we've seen how important defense is, and coming from me, the one that's been preaching in defense wins championships, their defense is solid. So I got to give them their credit on defense. The concern, as they said, is like one. Their best receiver is Jerry Jeudy, who had one good year in his entire career. Their other receivers are not really all that. Quinshon Judkins was just uppercutting his girlfriend at an airport. There's no telling what's going to happen with that situation. Like you said, I'm getting to a point where I genuinely think the Cleveland Browns are actually cursed. Like, it's getting to that point where I genuinely think someone has cursed the Cleveland Browns. There's no other explanation for this.
Well, it's been like that.
Yeah, and it's just like, what is happening? It's every single year. They give the Texans like 3 or 4 first-round picks, get Deshaun Watson just to see him completely crumble. Every time they get a draft pick, they end up getting arrested. Something crazy happens, or some case pops off, or they just don't pan out. They're cursed, man. I do think that the offense is just going to limit them tremendously. You got to score points. Even though defense wins championships, you still got to be able to score points. And I'm not comfortable saying, oh, yeah, this offense is going to be efficient with their best weapon being Jerry Jeudy. Amari Cooper was there last year. He's a free agent still to this day. Jerry Jeudy he came on last year for the Broncos. I need to see it a little bit more. I do think he has a little bit of a fire under him, and hopefully he bounces back and hopefully he's effective. But again, there's nothing guaranteed there offensively. So it's a little challenging for me to go any better than that 2-15 record, especially in this division. So that brings us to the next team.
Steelers.
Up next, I do have the Steelers finishing 3rd in this division. I'm a lot nicer this year than I was last year when it comes to the Steelers record and Mike Tomlin. But I do have him taking his first losing season as a head coach. Yeah, I had him 2 wins last year. Rough prediction. This year I got him 7-10. So a lot more love for the Steelers this year versus last year. But realistically, I don't think this is a playoff team. Aaron Rodgers coming in at quarterback, right? We'll see how that goes. I think the Jets won, 4 games last year? So I'm not really seeing that as a potential upgrade versus the QB by committee that was Fields and Russell Wilson last year for the Steelers. So I'm not overly impressed with what the Steelers are bringing to the table. Defensively, yes, they're a good defense. That's why I put them at 7 wins. Offensively, they traded Pickens. They traded and received DK Metcalf, so we'll see how that gels when it comes to Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf's connection. Then they went and traded for Jonnu Smith. That gives them 2 solid tight ends with Smith and Freiermuth. So I'm assuming they're going to run a lot of 2 tight end personnel, 2 wide receiver personnel sets with their running game. And then obviously they let Najee walk. Najee signed with the Chargers and then somehow blew his eye off. I don't know what's going on with that dude. And then obviously they drafted Johnson out of Iowa. I think Johnson, in my opinion, is probably the most upside on this team as far as rookies in fantasy. I think DK is going to give you a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 year. Rodgers is going to give you what Rodgers gives you. Realistically, if you're relying on Aaron Rodgers in fantasy, your team's probably trash. So that is what it is. But like I said, I got Steelers 7-10, a little bit better than last year for sure. But I don't think this team's moving in the right direction until they find a permanent long-term solution for that quarterback position.
Yes, I'm similar, close to you. I got them a 9-8 record, mainly defensively. They're still going to be good. Obviously, giving T.J. Watt the big contract, bringing him back. Biggest concern is quarterback. I don't know what Rodgers has left. That's what's holding me back. I like DK. Getting rid of George Pickens was just a mistake because I feel like you had a good combo there, especially bringing Rodgers in. He would have had both Pickens and DK, and now you're just asking DK to do it all because there's no other option for the receiving game outside DK Metcalf. Pat Freiermuth, I would love to see more. Always been a fan of him, especially in Dynasty. I have I did have some shares on him. I don't think I have much anymore, but again, it's just Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he has much left. Let's see if he even makes it through the season. I think they're going to run the ball a lot. Hand the ball off to the rookie running back and just see what happens. Defense is going to keep him in there, but same thing with Cleveland. These guys they got these two teams above them, and they're not coming close to either one of these teams. So it's just going to be, I think it's just going to be a mid-year for the Steelers. Still think they finish over 500. It's Mike Tomlin. He's never done it. So why are you going to bet against him now, even with a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, however old he is? So yeah, I'll give him a 9-8.
Yeah.
I'm giving him a 6-11. I think this is going to be Tomlin's losing season. And he can thank Aaron Rodgers for that. I mean, they've done everything they've done this year has been head scratching to me. I mean, okay, you brought in DK Metcalf
I agree.
to run as a second to Pickens. I thought that was great. Thought that was a good move. Then you turn around and you trade Pickens to Dallas for, I mean, what? Well, I mean, I didn't understand that trade. You're trying to build your offense, and then you go away and trade away your number one wide receiver. I don't know what y'all are thinking. You're getting a DK Metcalf, but he's not a number one. He's not that number one. You take away the guy that he could play off of. I mean, George Pickens is the guy that can go out there and physically impose somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see DK. DK is not going to do that. Yeah, he can bully people around physically, but he's not going out there and making people look silly the same way that George Pickens does, and he's not as consistent with either. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand that at all. The Aaron Rodgers thing is a freaking head scratcher. I don't know why they just didn't re-sign Fields or re-sign Russ. Both of those, everything that they've done to me has hurt them. Other than bringing in DK to pair with George Pickens, but then they shot themselves in the foot trading him away. Bringing in Jonnu Smith. Me personally, who I had Jonnu Smith on my roster on a bunch of dynasties because he was an easy pickup. I had him on the waiver wire. I got off the waiver wire several places after he left Atlanta and down in Miami. He was a pretty productive tight end for me last year. Now he's going to a place with the offensive coordinator that can't even freaking use his tight ends. I think because this is Arthur Smith. Ain't that who am I thinking correctly?
The old head coach from the Falcons. Yeah.
Okay, so
he's offensive coordinator now. Yes.
I think this is a horrible position for this guy. It's going to tank his value. To me, Freiermuth, you might as well say it's tanking his value because then now they're splitting receptions from the tight end position. I don't understand this. You get the defense. I mean, we're bringing in Ramsey, right? That they brought in Jalen Ramsey as part of that.
To get rid of Minka Fitzpatrick,
right? Right. And what's the age difference there? You're giving up a couple years, right?
Yeah, it is.
I think,
3 or 4 years.
It is.
So what are we going for? What's the purpose of what to me they don't really have a purpose. You bring in the oldest quarterback that you could get. To me, and then this is one thing that I'm waiting on because I have shares of Will Howard everywhere. I'm waiting on Aaron Rodgers' plane to go down, and I'm waiting on that Will Howard plane to start taking off and be the franchise quarterback going forward for the Steelers.
Is it another Bo Nix?
I think so. I think he's a proven winner.
Hey, I can't argue with you.
I think he's got the attributes. He's got the size. I mean, to me, Big Ben all over again for the Steelers.
I can't argue against you. That call on Bo Nix last year was insane. I told Dean after that, not to get off subject, but I told
Yeah,
Dean
it
like
was.
last year about mid-season, I went and looked. I was like, dude, Seth literally has Bo Nix everywhere. I was like, he was
Yeah,
like,
you
yeah,
drafted him in
probably.
every league.
Every league
you
you were
had a
in, you
chance.
took him. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's three of us having them at a losing season. James, I think you had him at 9-8.
Yeah, 9-8.
I have him at 8-9. John 7-10. I have him at 8-9. A lot of similar things that you guys were talking about. A big thing for me is Hayward is looking like he could be an in-season holdout. He wants a contract. He's such a dominant force in the inside of that defensive line. I did this record before that news, so they could be worse. So I had him at 8-9 with their best defense. They have Jalen Ramsey out there, but he's kind of not the same guy anymore.
Yeah.
Like you said, guys, the DK is not he's a very dominant receiver physically, but like he's just got something missing. Like he's a wannabe AJ Brown almost. Like he doesn't have the route running that AJ Brown has. He doesn't have that run after catch. You would think he does because he's a freak athlete. Like he's probably the most athletic player in the league. Like he's probably the most, like, from pound for pound. There's no one more athletic than DK Metcalf. Dude is a freak of nature.
And I felt bad saying not physically imposing, but it's something that it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't you would think he's more physical than he is in his play because of how athletic he is. You would think he would be a little bit more physical in his play. And I know what you mean, because like when you have a guy like him, let's say, like, you would think he could be like a Calvin. You know what I mean? Like that's where
that size.
That's what everybody was like trying to comp him to, and I just thought that was laughable. I thought that was the most laughable thing, to just try and comp DK Metcalf to Calvin Johnson. Like, it's not in his game at all. Like, Calvin, if that ball's in the air, it doesn't matter if you got 4 defenders on him. He was catching that
Calvin's
ball.
catching that ball.
Yeah, like Calvin was just different. You would think that DK would have the same type of an outcome, but he's just not that guy. He's just a mediocre route runner. He doesn't get in and out of his break the way that you would want. It's like he's all speed, all gas, no brakes. Seth knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. All gas, no brakes with it. That's kind of DK Metcalf's way of playing. Like, he's literally all gas, no brakes. And like because he's just sprinting full speed, there's no timing to his routes. It's kind of like Liggett. Liggett is very similar in the way that he runs his routes. He's got a lot of really physical, strong, powerful runs, but because he's just full speed all the time, he's predictable, and it's hard to get your hips down when you're running as fast as you can, and to turn your hips over and get in and out of your breaks because you're running full speed. Like, this isn't a go route all the time. Like, you have to be able to pace your routes. You have to be able to get in and out of the breaks. You have to be able to turn your. That's a reason why some of the slower receivers are some of the most elite separators, is because their acceleration is there, and they can also get in and out of their breaks at a major advantage because they can slow down their routes and make themselves unpredictable. DK doesn't really have that to his game. So the thing about DK, he's not a true, in my opinion, he's not a true number one. He's like he's a number 2 receiver. I think, he's like probably not even as good as T. Higgins. I wouldn't even say he's as good as T. Higgins.
I agree.
The best number 2 in the league. He's really a number 1 as a number 2. But DK Metcalf would be the best number 2 in the NFL. He's like right under a true wide receiver, like a number 1 receiver for a team, just because of his athletic prowess, right? But with all that being said, they do have some good little slot guys I like over there. Calvin Austin, I do like him. He's going to have his opportunity this year, and Aaron Rodgers loves his small slot guys, so he's going to find a way to get those smaller guys involved. They have the running game, Keldon Johnson, right? Mm-hmm. From Iowa. He is getting a lot of buzz out of camp right now. I mean, he's killing it in camp. I think that they upgraded at running back. I don't think Najee was the guy. You guys have heard me say it for years. Even after his great rookie season, I was never sold on Najee. He was very one-dimensional. He needs to be playing power. They run zone. He's not laterally quick enough to get in and out of those breaks. He's just a one-speed, one-trick pony. That's all Najee is. He's in the perfect situation to succeed. And for the Chargers, good riddance. They got Keldon Johnson, who is in a perfect position to take over as the RB1 by week 3. And I love Warren, but Keldon Johnson's a different beast. Keldon Johnson is what Najee wishes he was. And Keldon Johnson hasn't even touched the NFL field yet, other than practice. When Keldon Johnson gets on the field, you're going to see, oh, that's what Najee was supposed to look like, because you see the lateral quickness, you see the explosive first step, you see how he can hit the hole with power, you see how he can get in and out of his break when he cuts in the running game, on the passing game. He can catch the football, he can block, he can do everything. I like Keldon Johnson a lot, so I do think they improved on running game. But again, there's the quarterback situation, the O-line situation, the holding out now of Hayward, the trading Pickens. Maybe that was a good thing for them. Maybe trading Pickens ends up being a good thing. Maybe it was a distraction. Like, I don't know at what level was he influencing the offense with his sideline personality, just being a complete diva, acting like he was T.O. in his prime, constantly just, yapping on the sideline with everybody, fighting, trying to cause problems, giving up on plays. Maybe they're on to something. I'm not going to jump too early on it. We'll see how this team pans out. It is still Mike Tomlin. And this dude is arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time. If it happened and he got rid of a receiver, how many times have we not seen him bounce back and have another receiver ready on deck? They always bounce back and have a receiver on deck. So
that's true.
Next man up. Literally next man up mentality, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers way. So they could very well come out and be better than my 8-9. They could very well come in and be worse, because if the Hayward situation drags out and they don't have their number one interior defensive lineman, granted, yes, he's a little older and he wants a big contract, but he's still a force. So that is a huge piece on that defense. If they lose him, that's a huge piece in the interior defensive line. He's one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league. So it could end up being a huge loss. They need to just go ahead and sign him. So I got them 8-9. I'm not going to carry anymore. I've been yapping for long enough. But we'll get over to the next team. Who you guys got?
Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Arguably the most electric offense in the NFL last season, despite their record. This year, I do think this is going to be a high-caliber offense again. I got them going 12-5. So I'm on the Burrow train this year. I do think that this offense is going to click on all cylinders. They had one of the best finishes last year when it comes to the regular season. I don't remember the exact record, but I want to say they were like 7-1 or 7-2 to finish out the year. They missed the playoffs because of how bad they started. Realistically, they did make multiple selections on the defensive side of the football in the draft to address some of the opportunities that they had there. Obviously, we've all talked about the contract situations that they had with both their first-round pick and the NFL sack leader, Henderson, who obviously still is not satisfied with where he's at, but he's at least at camp, which is an improvement. But I do think this team gets it together. I do think they're going to show some improvement on defense. And if I had to bank on a team being able to score 30 to 35 points and winning a football game, Cincinnati Bengals offense is one that I would definitely bank on and bet with just about every week. I think last year, they lost 3 or 4 games where the offense scored more than 30 points, right? That's how bad their defense was. Their defense was arguably just as bad as ours. They just didn't give up the same number of points. So I do see a turnaround defensively. I do think this is a playoff caliber team. They have the best wide receiver in football right now with Jamar Chase coming off a triple crown. They have Brown in the backfield as a legitimate RB1 candidate. They have T. Higgins on the opposite side, like Dean just previously said, the best number 2 in football. He realistically is a number 1. He just happens to be playing opposite the best receiver in the NFL. So for me, I think the sky is the limit. I think Joe Burrow is going to put up MVP level numbers, and I think this team is going to win 12 games. He did, but this time they're going to win games, and he's actually going to be able to contend for that MVP title. Whereas last year, just like he said, and in full honesty, I think he had better numbers than Josh Allen did, but Josh Allen won, and the Bills
did have
won.
better numbers than Josh
and that
Allen.
was
I
the
told
differential.
I told him, it was like, if they made the playoffs, he's MVP.
I agree. Had they made the playoffs even as a wild card, I think he would have won the MVP with how well he played over the last 2 months of the year. Like I said, I got him on 12-5. I do think he's going to put up MVP level play. Jamar Chase is obviously going to be high-end wide receiver. Offense is going to score a lot of points, and it's going to be very fun to watch.
Yeah, so y'all remember the early Mahomes years where it was, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. The defense was very mid, but you had to outscore them. Yeah, that's your Cincinnati Bengals. I got them going 14-3 this year. I think the defense does improve a little bit offensively. Offensively, I mean, it's you want to talk about fantasy galore. You want all the pieces. You want all the pieces in this offense. I promise you that. No, I mean, if you look at how they played down the stretch, you look at Burrow. You got the T. Higgins money situation dealt with. You got the Jamar Chase money situation dealt with. $1 billion Binkle boys. I mean, that's what they call them. I think possibly they probably figure out the Trey Hendrickson thing. I would think so. When you have what you have and you could go on the stretch, I got them finishing 5th in the conference, and that's only because there has to be 3 other winners in the other divisions. You know what I mean? So I think they're going to be one of the better teams, and he's going to – I agree with you, John. He's going to be right up there with Lamar and Allen when it comes to MVP. And if this team makes the playoffs, it would be hard to believe if he can mirror what he did last year. He's an MVP winning quarterback, and I think they can do it this year. I like the Bengals. I'm everything about them. 14-3.
Nice.
Yeah, I like the Bengals too. I got them going 13-4, right up there. I will tell you this right now. This is sort of touching on the Ravens too, but this division is going to be settled by December 14th. You have in 3 weeks, a 3-week span from Thanksgiving, they play primetime Thanksgiving against the Ravens. And then they follow up December 14th playing at home against the Ravens. This division is settled, I think, December 14th.
Okay.
I could see that.
Kind of give that away a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
So I'm not going to add any more on to what y'all said, but I think huge on them. But I think it comes down to that 3-week span, and that 14th is going to be the.
So who do you have them winning in Week 14? Who do you have in the game? Do you have them winning that game?
Week 14, I have.
No, Week 14 is against the Ravens.
Not Week 14, December 14th.
Bengals,
which is
December 14th.
I'm talking Week 14.
Oh, Bills game?
Going into Buffalo.
I have them winning Buffalo, winning in Buffalo.
Same. I think that I agree with you. That stretch right there, I believe I have them losing to the Ravens at home, but I
do too.
Yeah, but I
actually have them losing both of those games. I have them losing to the Ravens and the Bills, and then winning that December 14th matchup.
But I was talking about that week. I agree with you, Seth. That stretch right there is going to really show you what the Bengals are going to be, going down the stretch. Because after that, I mean, they could walk the rest of the way through.
Well, I'm not as high on the Bengals as you guys.
Oh,
which
really?
is kind of crazy.
That's insane.
I have them
Mr.
at
Joe Burrow.
11-6. I got them 11-6.
Okay, we're one game apart. Okay, that's not.
I don't think it's about Joe Burrow at all. I think Joe Burrow is going to do his thing, but there's no way you're walking into week 2 of the preseason. Hendrickson is not signed, and that is not going to linger on an already horribly organized defense. They're depending on a rookie who just happened to just get signed last week, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago, barely just got signed, was on a holdout. Front office is looking cheap. The league is already looking at how, the Bengals are just, cheapskates, right? Like the team, it doesn't seem like things are working out defensively. Offensively, they're going to be clicking on all cylinders, like James called them, the $1 billion Bengal boys. I mean, Burrow's going to be lighting them up. But if Hendrickson's not out there, and even if he is out there, he's missing an entire preseason. Yes, he's, a dominant pass rusher, but you're lying to yourself if you say it doesn't matter how many years you've played in the league. You're lying to yourself if you say it doesn't matter if you don't play at all in the preseason. He's going to come out. He's going to be flat for 5 weeks.
Yeah. You saw that last year from the Panthers. So,
yeah,
right.
You saw it last year with the Panthers.
Right. So you're completely lying to yourself if you think that's not going to affect that defense. You're talking about the most dominant pass rusher of the past 2 or 3 years has not played a single practice this entire preseason. That is going to – and I still have him at 11-6, but that is in large part because Hendrickson is not going to be himself if he's even going to be on the team. We don't even know what's going to happen with the team. So we're still figuring that out. But that's why I got them at 11-6. I have the Ravens sweeping them. I do think that the season the division will be decided on that week 14 because the Ravens will beat them the second time in a row. I don't think that the Bengals defense is going to be fit to keep Henry, Zay, Lamar, Andrews, all these guys that they have. Even Des Walker, right? He's having a little bit of a nice camp right now. We'll see.
I need more of that boy.
Tar Heels, baby, Tar Heels.
Yeah.
But so so I'm not going to go too much more on that. I think the defense is why they lose 6 games. The offense is single-handedly going to have to carry them to their 11 games. They're going to make the playoffs, but they'll be a wild card at 11-6 in the AFC. And then that'll be your argument about what they should have been last year. Burrow making the postseason, even as a wild card, potentially putting up those MVP numbers. So that's kind of where we're going to be at. I do think he's going to light up the league. He will blow the league away as long as Higgins stays healthy. Dude, if Higgins stays healthy, this is going to be a rough team.
He got money, bro. He won't be hurt at all anymore.
Right. All of a sudden, he's going hamstring's feeling real good right now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Excellent.
Great.
That's crazy.
Great.
So that brings us to the division leaders, right? The Browns.
Yeah. Of course. The Baltimore Ravens.
Watch out. Hey, the Browns are number 1 in marketing. I can tell you that. They did a good job with that.
John, kick us off. What do you got with the Ravens?
All right, so before we deep dive too far, I got the Ravens going 14-3. The difference between myself and your record for the Bengals is I do have them splitting, right? You said you had them sweeping it, going 11-6. Ravens winning both. I have them splitting. That's our difference in 12-5 and 11-6. I think the Ravens are just a very good football team. They're very well built defensively, offensively, special teams. You name it, they have it. We'll see how they do with their kicker game this year. They have a new kicker for the first time in a decade plus. The whole Justin Tucker situation and all of that. They got a rookie in there now.
They don't need it.
So we'll see how that works out. But if any coach can coach special teams, Harbaugh is that guy. But like I said, I got them going 14-3. We all know what Lamar Jackson is. We all know what Derrick Henry is. Everybody got to really see what Zay Flowers
Why am I tripping? Who's the number 2? Who's the number 2 receiver? I'm tripping right now. I can't think of who.
Rashad Bateman.
Didn't they just?
Rashad Bateman is the number 2. No, they signed D-Hop. You're thinking of D-Hop. They have D-Hop as 3.
It's Bateman.
He's just there for a ring.
Well, technically, it's Mark Andrews.
Literally. Well, yeah, if you want to be technical, as far as target share, yes.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have Isaiah Likely behind him too. But like I said, offensively, they got a lot of good players. They're going to run the ball. They're probably going to lead the league in rushing again. When you have a dynamic quarterback like Lamar, you have arguably the best running back in football. That's not Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. This team is just well built. They're built to win. The big asterisk with the Ravens is what are they going to do when they get in the playoffs? Realistically, I think we can all agree that this is a playoff team, and they're going to be judged not on their regular season success, not on Lamar's regular season stats, but on what this team can accomplish when it comes time for the postseason and what they're going to be able to do when it comes to, potentially bringing the Lombardi Trophy back to Baltimore for a third time. So we'll see. Playoffs are a long way away. We got a long time before we get there. But that's what this team's going to be judged on. This team's not going to be judged off of their regular season success. They can go 17-0. At the end of the day, it's only going to be what they do in the playoffs that matter, because that's how good this football team is, and they have to be able to separate themselves in the elite class and legitimately contend to win a Super Bowl this year in order for this season to be considered a success. Like I said, I got them 14-3. I got them the number one team in that division, and we'll see what they can do once they make it to the playoffs.
I mean, shit, ditto, right? Everything you said about I got them 15-2. Everything John just said. It's Baltimore Ravens. I mean, they're going to be there in the end. It is, what they do in the play. It's Lamar. It's like Lamar to be, he has 2 MVPs. He's made it. He's been dominant ever since he's been in the league. They counted him out. I mean, he's the top 2 quarterback in the league right now. But you gotta win in the playoffs, and that's where it matters. There's not a lot to say about them. They're 15-2 team. They're going to be in the playoffs. Hopefully it's Lamar's year. I want to see him get a ring, honestly, him and Henry.
Yeah, I got them 13-4. I got them in a tie with the Bengals in mind. And, yeah, I mean, just to add, again, like John said, they got to win in the postseason. I think this team is built, but definitely they've proven they can win the regular season. It's what's going to happen in the postseason. And I do think it's still going to come down to that Bengals – that Bengals 3-week split there to see who's going to win this division.
Well, I hate to not be adding too much to this.
17-0.
No. I don't have them there. I have them at 14-3 as well.
Yeah.
So I think they're the number 1 team in the AFC. I have the number 2 team as the Kansas City Chiefs at 14-3, tied at 14-3 with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Nice.
And for the conference, I should say. There's not a whole lot to add. I've already kind of started talking a little bit about it when we're talking about the Ravens. I think this are the Bengals. They're going to sweep the Bengals. That's really their only competition outside of the Chiefs in the entire conference. At least on their schedule. And they sweep them because the defense is just complete garbage. And the Ravens' defense is not garbage. So, they gave up a lot of passing yards, but there's a bend don't break kind of defense. They went in the draft and improved their secondary. Free agency improved their secondary. That was one of their biggest issues. We won't talk too much longer on those guys. They're, in my opinion, the favorite. Malachi Starks is a savage again.
That's secondary.
The fact that they got Green and Malachi Starks is just convincing me that the NFL is rigged. There's just no reason.
Did you see the picture that they showed, the bend of Green?
Mike Green?
When he was doing that? Yeah. His ankle, good Lord, man. The flexibility on that is ridiculous.
Mike Green as outside linebacker and Malachi Starks. They're just adding. I mean, these are that's a premier pass rusher, as well as, in my opinion, the best safety in the draft. And if it wasn't for the fact that he was a damn safety, should have been a top 10 talent. Yeah, and they got both of them. I mean, holy crap, dude. Like, James might be close to 15-2. Like, it was hard for me to find losses. Like, I just had to give them some losses because they're going to lose some. It was hard for me to find losses on their schedule.
Secondary should be nasty.
I mean, this could be, like the Panthers 15-1. This could be a 16-1 type of year.
I've heard some guy call it like the new Legion of Boom. Is like how good that secondary could be.
I'm just ready to see what Malachi Starks is going to look like, because I was talking about Malachi Starks. I wanted Malachi Starks like crazy on our defense, but unfortunately we were a top 10 pick, and it's hard as crap to go and grab a safety.
You can't take a safety that high.
No, you got to trade back. But I'm not upset with what we did. But anyway, it's not about the NFC South. So that's where we got it.
Division is trash.
We have our rankings all the same. Baltimore 1, Bengals 2.
Yes.
Steelers 3, Browns last, right? Or no,
Yeah.
Seth, you have the Steelers last.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
do
had
you?
the
Bengals were
Bengals
last, yeah.
7 and
One
Steelers
game
at
difference,
6.
yep.
Wow.
Hmm.
So,
All right.
okay, cool.
Hey,
Let's move
Tyler.
on. I know, right? Let's move on to the AFC South. John, if you want to kick us off.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh.
Yeah, this is the worst AFC division.
This might be
Starting at
the
the
worst.
bottom.
I'm gonna say it before we start. This may be the worst division in the league.
You're not wrong.
I'm not that far off, for sure.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
All right,
This
so who we
is
got coming
the
up first? It's the
Indianapolis Colts.
Good, because I had them finishing last in this division anyways.
Really?
I think that's gonna.
I did. I got the Colts going 2-15. I'm not high on the Colts at all. Offensively, I mean, who are you going to play at quarterback? Like, we were joking about it before we got on. Are you going to play
Danny Dimes? Get out of here.
Pick up a
MVP,
blitz
baby.
coverage?
Danny Dimes. He's about to be throwing them dimes and nickels.
Yeah, he's going to be throwing it 2 yards
Throwing
deep
them
every
pennies,
play.
bro.
Like, if you want to talk about a quarterback situation, right? Because we just talked about the Browns team and their
What did you say?
carousel.
2-15? Sorry.
2-15. I have the same record as the Browns, 2-15.
Okay.
And it's the same reason. The carousel of quarterback. We don't have a true quarterback answer on this team. Everybody loves Anthony Richardson's potential. I just don't think he's in the right spot to be successful. He reminds me a lot of the Trey Lance situation minus the major injury, right? Anthony Richardson's had several injuries, but nothing major to the point where he snapped his leg in half on a play. But it's very reminiscent of that situation. Very high draft pick, top 5 pick, right? You invested a lot to make this guy your guy, and they did him a disservice. He should have set year 1. I think majority of us can agree with that, especially coming out of Florida, where I think he only had 12 starts between his 2 years in college. Like, he's very unproven. He was a raw talent. He's got a cannon of an arm. He's got all the ability in the world, but he needs to sit down and he needs to learn how to play NFL football. And he's not been given that opportunity outside of the issues where he's had injuries. And then obviously he's got to do his rehab and all of those things. But like I said, I got him going 2-15. The only 2 wins I do have him picking up a win versus the Titans. And then I got to pick him up a random win at Pittsburgh. But like I said, 2-15. I'm not really high on anybody on this team. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor's a really good running back. I think he's still serviceable. I think he's still going to give you a solid year.
Now when you can stack the box.
The offensive line is not as good as it used to be, definitely. And then when you look at it from a receiver standpoint, they have really good receiver talent, but I just don't trust the guy throwing the receivers the ball. I think Warren was an amazing pick for them. Realistically, with how these 2 quarterbacks specifically I've seen play, I think he could lead this team in targets as a rookie tight end. I wouldn't put it past it in the situation of this offense for him to lead this team in targets throughout the 2025 years. So if there's a guy that I'm buying at ADP is Warren as a tight end for the Colts. And then the only guy that I'm really interested in this offense is Josh Downs. As a true Tar Heel fan, I'm pretty sure I know I've said this to James multiple times. I think he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver. I think he's solidifying himself as the number 1 option as a receiver in this offense. He can play outside the numbers. He can play from inside the slot. You can move him to any wide receiver position on the field that you want to, and he will be successful. He proved that in college. He was always dominant. He always had a dominant target share, and he's been able to showcase that same skill level as a pro up to this point. If he stays healthy, I think he's the wide receiver 1 here. I think Pittman would probably slide in as a wide receiver 2, and then Adonai Mitchell's having a pretty solid preseason. I think he's going to go in as the 3rd option. But when it comes to fantasy, the biggest thing for me, I think, is going to be Warren, just because of the target share and the lack of effective quarterback play as the season progresses.
Yeah, let's go ahead and clip that one because he ain't Brock Bowers, but he ain't going to lead that team in their targets.
I think he will.
Anyways, Hey, one game better than you, 3-14. Again, quarterback situation. Defense was dicey at times last year. I'm not big on it. Again, Jonathan Taylor, one of the better running backs in the league, but you can't run it when they stack the box against you. Not bad, like mid offensive line, bad quarterback play. Last 2 seasons, receivers can't stay healthy. I'd like to see what Tyler Warren does. Yeah, I mean, it's just a bad situation. There's not much to say on it. I don't think they're a good football team.
No, I think Riley Leonard could end up starting before the end of this season.
Oh, that is disgusting.
Let's go.
Hey,
that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, AR may come back from that finger, but something else is going to happen. Take him out if he makes it back on the field. Daniel Jones, who's sold on that? Nobody. I mean, it's a real possibility. Riley Leonard is the starting quarterback before the season's over for the Colts. I have them going 4-13. This is picking up random
Riley
wins.
Leonard starting.
That's
tell me that's not a deep. I mean, that's not a big reach.
That's wild.
I'm not going to disagree. At 2-15, I could see him starting games.
I mean, why not?
It's fine.
At that point, your AR experiment's over. Like it's got to be over, and Daniel Jones isn't it. Like you might as well go to the rookie. I mean,
give him a shot.
What else do you got to do? You know what I'm saying? Like you might as well just tank it in the ground.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, tank it, get the number 1 pick, and force Arch Manning to come out.
Right. The thing is
that's not happening.
Look, we want to talk about fantasy. All them JT shares, all them Jonathan Taylor shares. They're looking pretty meek. I mean, I think I have a couple, but it's not looking very good for him. I mean, when you're one-dimensional, they can stack the box. Your defense really isn't that good either. What do they have in Indianapolis to really build around right now? AR was not it. They've swung and missed on that. They got a receiving core, but they have nobody that can get them the ball consistently anyway. Daniel Jones may come in there and do it, but we all know Daniel Jones is going to get in his own way at some point. So I don't have very much faith in them. I think they're definitely the bottom of this division. Easy.
So you said the record was what again?
4-13.
4-13. James, you were 4-13.
3-14.
And John 2-15.
2-15. Yeah.
Well, I think you guys are hating on Danny Dimes.
Here's the curve.
Danny Dimes is going to come in.
Hold on, before you start, do you at least have him finishing last?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Danny Dimes.
Hold on. Before you go on your Danny Dimes take here, remember, that is the only NFL football player that has ever tackled himself on a play. Okay.
I call
full-blown
BS on that one.
Busted his face. Okay.
I call BS
he stumbled
on
over
that
his
one.
feet.
I will say
that's the
only.
Mark Sanchez? Did you
Mark
see
Sanchez literally ran into someone's butt.
Yes, he got tackled by his offensive lineman's ass.
And then Andy Dalton just this week for the Panthers.
That was great.
He got clotheslined by Casper, so I don't want to hear anything.
He tackled himself.
All right, so
he did.
All right, Danny Dimes is about to carry the Indianapolis Colts to 5-12. Boys.
Oh, wow.
It's going to happen.
2, 3, 4, 5. I
They're
like it.
going
I like it.
to be going to 5 wins. They will not be the worst in this division. The freaking hate is just pure blasphemy right now, as what Stephen A would like to say. Those receivers are too good to be 2 wins. Those receivers are too good to be 3 wins. Those receivers are too good to be 4 wins. They are going to be a 5-win season. Let's go. Defense is trash, but that offense will be a little suspect. Danny Dimes is going to carry him to the promised land, to 5 wins.
That's disgusting.
I'm not going to go too much into it. You guys talked about the players, the box, Jonathan Taylor. I still like Michael Pittman a lot. He did just get signed. Josh Downs is obviously a little dark horse there. They still have Alec Pierce. I do like Alec Pierce. I mean, he's a freak of nature. Like, he's pretty damn athletic. I don't think people realize how much of a freak that dude is. So they've got weapons across the board. They did pick up Warren, Tyler Warren, Warren, whatever, however you want to say it. So I do think they have some weapons. When you have that many weapons, even a subpar quarterback can somewhat make something happen. That is the best weaponry Daniel Jones has ever had in his entire career. The difference
100%.
is Daniel Jones had better defensive lines in New York, and he had better secondaries than New York. Like, this defense is kind of the only reason why I don't have them winning more games. And now the reason I don't have them in second place in the division. It's specifically because of that defense. If they had a better defense and a more respectable defense, I do think Daniel Jones, literally, I'm not just joking about it, I do think Daniel Jones could actually do something with this team, because offensively, this is the best offense he has ever played with. Anthony Richardson, whatever. That dude is, he's a walking, hazard. Like, this dude cannot do anything without getting injured. I mean, he's like, there's that old movie where the guy played football. He's like walking in a sunflower seed, hits the grass, and he steps on the sunflower seed, and he just snaps his leg in like 5 places. That's literally Anthony Richardson. Maybe whoever's watching this can understand exactly what movie I'm talking about. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, that's Anthony Richardson.
The Colts
he can't get out of his own way. So I don't have them dead last in the division. So that brings us to what you guys have as the third place team, and I have as probably the worst team.
The Titans?
Yeah.
The Titans.
We'll see. Tennessee Titans.
John, Titans, what do you got?
Still not high on Tennessee. I got them going 3-14. This team has a lot of work to do. The health on defense wasn't there last year. I do think they'll be better defensively than they were last year, just by getting key players back healthy. Offensively, they have a lot to be desired, right? They have Tony Pollard at running back. They have Spears at running back behind him. I think that's a decent 1-2 punch. Pollard, 28 years old. He had 1,000 rushing yards last year. But I think it was more of just a byproduct of somebody had to do something on the offense, and he just happened to benefit. Obviously, they had the 101 this year. They took Cam Ward, quarterback. We'll see what he's really capable of doing. Calvin Ridley's the number one there. They've had a pretty good connection throughout training camp. I've seen a lot when it comes to ADP for Calvin Ridley and the potential upside based off of his current average positions in these drafts. There's a lot to be had there with potential upside as far as redraft for sure. But I'm not sold on the team defensively. I just don't know where they're going to be at, right? It's hard to believe in a team that had the worst record in football last year. I do, like I said, I got them 3-14. I'm not high on them. I do got wins versus the Colts, Browns, and the Saints. Those are the 3 wins that I had them picking up throughout the course of the season. And like I said, I'm just not sold on them. If I'm picking one guy on this offense that I'm going to take as far as fantasy, it would be Ridley, just because of his ability to separate and his route running. And he's just going to get a large target share because there's not a whole lot on this offense outside of Ridley. So he's my fantasy guy there. But outside of that, I'm just not in on the Titans at all.
I agree. It's funny because after I did my rankings, I walked into work and looked at my buddy Zach, which y'all play with, Z Wildman. I was like, bro, y'all are going to be terrible. He was like, don't say that. I was like, y'all are going to be so bad. And he was like, I was like, well, what do you have him at? He said 5 to 6 wins. I was like, all right, I have him at 5-12. So y'all are going to be bad. And I think it's like, to what you just said, John, I think it's just lack of weapons around Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward's going to be a very good quarterback in this league. But this is similar when you see guys like Drake May, Bryce Young, these guys come in and they don't have talent around them. This is what you're walking into. You have Calvin Ridley, and that's it. You got 2 running backs. You want to talk about guys that can't stay healthy, Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. I mean, and I hate it for Cam Ward.
Tajay Spears, Mr. No ACL.
Yeah,
ACL. And I like Cam Ward, and I wish there was a better situation. But, hey, you are the 101, and, that is what it is. I just think it's not because it's not going to be because Cam Ward isn't good. It's going to be because they don't have the weapons around him to win.
Yes.
And that's what it's going to come down to. They're a building roster. I see them, obviously in the top 10 picks next year, and hopefully they get this man a good receiver in there,
A legitimate weapon.
Yeah, and as far as fantasy standpoint, I don't want anybody. I'm staying away from everything on the Titans. I'm not drafting any of them if I can help it.
Yes, I agree. From a dynasty standpoint, I do like the rookie wide receiver Alec Anamore. I think is how I say it. I do like him for a dynasty pickup as well as Cam Ward. If you could get that stack, I think there's benefits to be had from that stack in years to come. Yeah, I would definitely be buying that stack. The Titans themselves, I have them going 5-12. They're going to be fighting down at the bottom, fighting it out for a low pick. I still think 2 of their 5 wins are coming against the Colts. So
Fair.
they're
Completely fair.
random wins, 1 against New Orleans. There's more than half their wins right there. So I think the schedule, I guess, broke their way to give them these 5 wins, and then they sneak up 1 here or there to get the other 2. It's just there's not a lot outside of Cam Ward and the Ridley connection for me to be excited about in Tennessee. I do think they're a pretty bad football team. Still not as bad as the Colts, though.
Yeah.
I just looked. I have them sweeping the Colts too.
I just love how you just kept.
I have them split and believe it.
You just couldn't stop adding the fact that they would sweep the Colts. Like you said that probably 3 times.
But speaking of that,
they're going to beat the
stack,
Colts twice. By the way, just throw that out there.
speaking of the stack, I did just trade with John in one of our leagues, and I got that stack.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that.
So I
like Drake May.
Do I have them sweeping the Colts?
Do you have them sweeping the Colts, John?
No, I had them split.
I have them splitting the Colts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We're 2 bad
that
teams. You might as well
brings
split.
me to my prediction here. We'll get to it. I have the Titans at 2-15. I have them only winning 2 games, once against the Colts, once against the Saints. I don't know. I think their schedule's pretty tough. Their defense is – they lost some pieces this year on defense. You guys mentioned the fact that you don't really know what they have offensively besides Cam Ward. So it makes it a little difficult for me to get too invested in the Tennessee Titans. You literally have a quarterback and one wide receiver. And that one wide receiver is a guy who has been a shell of himself since the suspension after Julio Jones and all this stuff left the Atlanta Falcons.
He had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Let's not do that.
It's not that impressive anymore in 2025 and 2023 and 2024.
He's still producing.
Either way, one receiver at 1,000 yards doesn't win you football games. They don't.
He also
have
did that with
anything
Will
else.
Levis at quarterback. Just throwing that out there.
They don't have anything else to throw the football to. I hope they can get somebody to 1,000 if you're only throwing the ball for 2,000, 3,000 yards. Their defense is not that great. Offensively, they're trash. James mentioned it. The running backs can't stay healthy. I'm not too sold on the Tennessee Titans. I still think they're one of the bottom feeders in the league. I do like Cam Ward. I think he's going to show promise. I think he can help get them closer in some of these games, but they're not. I just don't see it. I think they're going to be a new coach by week 5. By week 6, they're going to be in a new coach. Callahan's just not cutting it. Yeah, Callahan's not cutting it. He's been there. This will be his second year,
I think it's
or third year.
Third year.
Because he had Will Levis both years, right? No, he didn't draft Will Levis. So this will be his second year.
Yeah,
Vrabel this second year.
Yeah,
he'll make it out of the year 2.
Yeah, we'll see. They're just nothing. He was the offensive coordinator for Joe Burrow, and that's the only reason why he got the head coaching job. Let's be real. At the end of the day, he hasn't really, done much to say that, I'm worthy of being a head coach in the league. Anyway, that moves us on to the number 2 team, in the division here, the Houston Texans, right?
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Just kidding. Jaguars. I'm just messing. All right, so Jaguars, John, if you want to start us off.
All right, so we already know I'm higher on Trevor Lawrence than anybody in this group. So my record will speak to that. I got to go 10-7. I think this is a 10-win team.
Boy.
And I think they're a 10-win team because of the division that they play in more so than anything else. I do have them taking, 4 games by default versus the Colts and the Texans, or the Titans, which we just previously spoke about. But I got them going 10-7. I think Trevor Lawrence being healthy this year is going to play a big part in the situation. And then realistically, I mean, defensively, they got a lot of young talent. They have 2 elite pass rushers that they've invested very high draft capital into as well. Running backs, they have 3 potential running backs. This is going to be a full-blown committee when it comes to that. Strange at tight end. He had a pretty solid finish last year over the last 2 or 3 weeks. They traded away Evan Ingram, so he's going to slide into that tight end 1 role. So we'll see how well he can excel with the additional playing time and target share in that offense. And then they also have, weapon X, that is Travis Hunter. He's currently projected as their number 2 wide receiver behind Brian Thomas Jr., who had arguably, potentially, if you want to look at it, a top 50. I give him top 15 rookie wide receiver season of all time with how well he played last year in Jacksonville, despite the quarterback carousel after the injury with Trevor Lawrence in the shoulder. So I think this team's taking steps in the right direction. They were willing to trade their first-round pick in 2026 as a part of the deal to move up to get Travis Hunter. So that tells you that they believe in this team, that they believe in Trevor Lawrence taking the next step into a potential elite quarterback status, potential top 10 quarterback status within the NFL. We'll see if he's able to accomplish that, but I believe the team believes in him. Cohen believes in him as the new head coach for that team. And like I said, defensively, they are very stout defensively. I think their defense is going to get them an ability to contend to win this division with the Texans. Have them 1 game apart. So realistically, like I said, I'm higher on Trevor Lawrence than y'all are, more likely than not. I do think this is a 10-win team, and I do think they're going to be contending for a wild card position in the playoffs.
You always have been bigger on Trevor Lawrence
I
than
always have.
anybody. I know. But is it just me, or do I feel like Trevor Lawrence has always had some type of talent around him?
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, depends on what you
right?
call something.
And has he always come up short?
Yes.
Correct. 6-11
Yes.
is what I got the Jags going. I don't. It's Trevor Lawrence, man. And I know all of my buddies was let's get T-Law, let's get T-Law. No, we don't need T-Law. He's a very inconsistent guy to me. He has the weapons. He has Brian Thomas. Yeah, he gets Travis Hunter. Has a decent backfield. I just think because of him, they can't get over a hump, and they're in this division is just terrible. And you're competing in the AFC, and this team I cannot. Sorry, John, I don't see even getting close to 10 wins. 6-11, have no faith in Trevor Lawrence. I like the pieces there. Dynasty wise, definitely Travis Hunter. I like Brian Thomas Jr. And ETN, their running backs, it was dicey last year. I think it's just going to be a crowded room. I really don't want to touch any of that if I can, especially in redraft. But yeah, I just have no faith in the Jacksonville Jaguars or Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he's had plenty of years to prove it with the talent around him. He just cannot get it done. So Jacksonville 6-11.
He has had a double-digit winning season as a starting quarterback.
One time.
Just throwing that out there.
One time.
I mean, he's 4 years into his career. His first year is about as bad as what Bryce Young had in year 1. So you can call that
inconsistent, very inconsistent. He can go out there. He's a guy that goes out there. He's a guy that goes out there and literally plays like he was the number 1 pick. And then the next day, and then the next week, you're like, "Yo, where did this guy come from?"
The next drive.
Yeah.
The next drive. The next series of downs. He'll make probably one of the passes of the year, and you're like, "Whoa!" And then next thing he follow it up with some sail mail, like just sailing it over to the safety.
Hospital ball.
He's going to be sending them boys. I'm telling you. Pray for if you got Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. Please
pray for that boy.
Pray for him. Yeah, now 6-11.
He'll throw him the hospital ball.
6-11.
So give me BTJ. I'll take Brian Thomas Jr. Off this team. That's the only piece that I would really want to have off this team. I do have Brenton Strange. If you're looking for some depth tight end, I'll take him. Outside of that, I don't really care about anything on this team. I'm not a big Travis Hunter fan, so if I had him, which I would never draft him, but if I ended up with him taking over a team, I'd be looking to deal him, especially before he gets to playing and everything. I'm not a fan. Don't have any faith in anything on this team. The coach is a fool. 5-12 is a record for me. I have no faith, no hope, no love, no anything for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I wish I could put them below the Colts, to be honest with you.
Dang.
They just have a little bit more talent.
Yeah,
Just a little.
Yeah.
They actually have
Rough,
an
man,
okay
rough.
I mean, we're looking at the schedule right now. Like,
Yeah.
they could go 0-7 to start the season.
I mean, they're taking a nail week 1.
Yeah.
Right.
They could put, at best case, in my opinion, best case they can win 2 of the first 7 weeks.
I have them
best
going
case
3 and
scenario.
4.
And that's Seattle and Carolina is what I
That's
see.
Seattle and Carolina.
I got them 3 and 4 for 7.
So you got them beating Houston. Okay.
Yeah.
Because those are the only, you're giving them the best case scenario. Like that your record is literally the best case scenario.
Well, I think they can win against the Rams. That's a winnable game.
I did give them a Rams win.
Yeah.
I'm not getting now the Matthew Stafford. If you want to look back, this is again I've made these predictions well before Matthew Stafford's back and having to get an epidural just to be able to function as an adult. So there's a little bit of a different scenario here. So yes, they could beat the Rams now, but yeah, that's because of the fact that their grown man is getting an epidural. So then Trevor Lawrence gets a chance. Okay. But, we're looking at this here, guys. Trevor Lawrence in midseason form is already throwing hospital balls.
I'm telling you, bro.
And this is
I knew that was
just
gonna
what
happen.
we're ready to see, okay? We're ready to see it. It's a good day. Trevor Lawrence, his hair still looking like he's in middle school.
His AI looking ass.
Yeah, looking like he's still stuck in
But
middle
if he
school.
cuts it, he'll be a bigger quarterback.
Yeah. Get rid of that. And, here a little
Shave
bit
it
of
off.
Trevor Lawrence realizing that he only needs 20 yards for Cam Little to do the rest of the work. Because, he'll throw a hospital ball and let Cam Little come here and get the 70-yard field goal.
I haven't seen that one.
That's a good one.
It's okay. So listen, guys, the Jacksonville Jaguars are not it. Okay, they are not it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I got him, James, same record, 6-11. Trevor Lawrence is out here gonna get Brandon Thomas Jr. Feeling like he's ready to get put in a trade request. He's gonna get sick and tired of getting his head. He's gonna be Chris Olave style, is what he's gonna be. He's gonna be sick and tired of getting his head taken off. I don't want him to die either. I want him to be a great fantasy and dynasty receiver. But
Devontae Adams, the situation, okay? I'm getting out before
Trevor Lawrence is a Derek Carr with long hair and a better jawline. That's it, okay? So we're going to move on to that number 1 team in the division. I have them at number 4 in the conference. They're the worst playoff team in that, obviously they have to win their division, right? But I have them as the worst of the 4, 1 through 4, ranked 1 through 4 teams. So yeah, John, if you want to start us off there, I know I just really sputtered on that one, but you guys get the point. John, what do you got for their record for the Houston Texans?
You got them 4th in the conference. You got them the 4 seed. Got it.
4
I do
conference,
too.
yes.
I got them 11-6, like I said.
But record-wise, I don't have them as the
them
4th
and the
best
Jaguars.
record. I just have them as the 4th ranked
The
team by
Bengals have a
default
better record.
because they're the winner of their division. Yes. But anyway, go ahead.
Same thing. I got them going 11-6. So this team seems like the team that's going to be a disappointment to me. I don't know why. CJ Stroud had a great rookie year, showed a significant year 2 regression. Offensively, I think they got plenty of talent. We'll see what happens with the backfield. Mixon and this issue that he's got going on. That was a non-football injury. It's looking like he might actually miss regular season time, which is going to open up the door for Chuba to step in.
Nick Chubb.
Or Chubb, sorry. Yeah, Nick Chubb. Him stepping in, we saw how devastating that knee injury was when he was with the Browns. I don't know what he looks like as far as a feature running back in the NFL and today, right? With not just one significant knee injury, but he also had just as major of a knee injury when he was in college at Georgia as well. Receiver-wise, right, we all love Nico. They invested heavily in the receiver position in the draft, taking 2 different wide receivers, both from the same college, ironically. So that was a fairly interesting take, Iowa State guys. I'm big on Higgins, sorry. I think Higgins is solid. I think he's got a lot of upside there. And we'll see how well everything gels. I know today, I think their tight end, Jordan, they put him on season-ending IR due to an injury in preseason game 1. They still have the dude from Dallas, Schultz. He's still there. He had a very lackluster year last year at the tight end position, so I'm not really banging too much on that. Defensively, obviously, we know what they have defensively. That's why I think they win this division. Isn't necessarily what Stroud's going to be able to do to separate offensively. It's what this team can do defensively to really get after quarterbacks and then also on the back four. They arguably have one of the best duos in corners. Singletary is elite for sure. So I got him going 11-6. There's not a whole lot that I like on this offense as far as fantasy value-wise outside of Nico because there's just too many question marks and too many interchangeable variables that could significantly impact the fantasy production for this offense over the course of the season. Like I said, the defense is what separates it here. I got this defense leading this team to winning this division.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I got them going 9-8. Similar to what you said, the defense. I like the defense over there. They're going to be really good. Offensively, we have some rookie guys coming in with Jalen Knoll and is it Jaden Higgins?
Yeah, Jaden
Yes.
Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
So you got those two guys coming in, and obviously Nico Collins. The running back situation kind of has me. I did do their record after the Joe Mixon stuff. So the running game scares me. And you got Nick Chubb, obviously coming off that injury 2 years ago, didn't look like himself last year. And we know that, Stroud he could play better behind a good run game. So I don't know what that run game is going to look like.
Yeah.
But again, I think the defense it just, gives them that opportunity to stay in the game, stay in this division. But I got them going 9-8. I like Stroud and Nico for redraft for sure. In Dynasty, get all those guys because they're young wide receivers, so you want them. But yeah, 9-8.
I have them walking away with the division at 11-6, same as John. I don't really think there's much competition for them. Definitely 6 wins ahead of the closest competition in the division. They're gonna take some L's to this out of division teams. And as far as fantasy redraft goes, Nico's the only guy that I'd probably would target out of this team. If Stroud fell to me, I'd probably take him. Definitely not targeting Stroud, but Nico would be the guy that I would definitely have on my board that I would be trying to get ahead of some people. The running back, again, like you said, I don't have faith in to stick with any of these running backs or to try to even get this running back stable. I would definitely steer away from anybody in the backfield with this team. They're probably one and done in the playoffs to me. Just looking at this right now, I see them making the playoffs and then losing wild card round. Can't see them making it any further than that. I just don't think they have, and unless they get a favorable matchup, I just don't see them being able to get past that wild card round.
Yeah. So I have them at 10-7. Speaking of the playoffs, that would put them currently off my rankings. They would have to play the number 6 seed, which would be the Bengals in week 1 of the playoffs in the wild card. Just not happening. I do think that the Texans defense is insane. Titans defense is insane. My issues are what they did with the offensive line. We've seen Stroud kind of struggle without the protection. I can't say that I'm just not into this team at all with CJ Stroud and all that stuff, but I'm not going to say I'm not going to target or wouldn't target CJ Stroud in Dynasty because I do think they have a lot of good weapons. They have Jaden Higgins. They have, we just named them all. I'm not going to do it again. The running game is a little suspect. I will agree with that. They got age back there, and they're both injured. Chubb is he's broken his leg twice in 10 years, and it's just been crazy injury after injury because he did it in Georgia. Very similar hit where he completely obliterated his knee in Georgia. Is this his sophomore year or junior year? So he's not the first time he's bounced back from it. So we could see a resurgence of Chubb. I hope, because I hated to see. I mean, he was averaging 5-something yards a carry. He was at an NFL record, NFL best, like league history for per touch. So for me, I want to see Chubb back out there. It's just something that's not seen yet. We haven't seen what he's looking like post-injury. He did get a few touches last year late, but it never really turned into much of anything. So there's a concern there, an obvious concern with Chubb, an obvious concern with Joe Mixon. But if they're healthy, that is an insane backfield. So that, let's say that they do bounce back, best case scenario, they could win 2 or 3 more games, just because of how dominant that defense is. If Stroud can get a running game to support him with the fact that the O-line is kind of terrible, if he can get that running game, keep that pressure off of him, allow him to kind of settle in that pocket, Stroud is going to have the weaponry to pick defenses apart because he can keep defenses on their heels. So the running game is going to be vital to their success, and it's going to ultimately come down to how efficient can they move the football on the ground to open that up for C.J. Stroud. But if they're having to just go out here and sling the rock and they can just, pin their ears back with that offensive line, got rid of Laremy Tunsil, I believe it was, right? They moved Laremy Tunsil and let him go to Washington. Am I mistaken on that one?
I don't think
they traded Laremy Tunsil to Washington, right? Or they traded him. I just can't remember exactly.
Yeah, they did trade him. He is gone.
I thought he went to Washington.
I'm not sure where he went.
But yeah, they moved him. I thought they moved him to Washington. But either way, they did end up moving their best offensive lineman. And then they allowed a couple of other guards and stuff walk. They chose not to draft offensive line until the 2nd and 3rd round, I believe. No, because they drafted 2 receivers in the 2nd and 3rd round. So I can't even remember when they drafted offensive line. Free agency, they didn't really do a whole lot. So anyway, yeah, protection is going to be important. C.J. Stroud is not a guy who is extremely mobile, can make plays with his legs. He's not the improviser. These are the reasons I have always had Bryce Young as a better quarterback prospect than C.J. Stroud, because C.J. Stroud needs the clean pocket, he needs the time, and he needs the separation. And if he has it, the dude looks like Tom Brady. But if he doesn't have all those things, he looks like Jared Goff. So those are the outcomes that you're going to get from C.J. Stroud. And it's just, that's what we're going to see here. Well, I'm going, like I said, 10-7. I do think this division gives them 5 wins. I have them going 5-1 in this division. So there you go. That's half of their victories. They're coming from this crappy AFC division. So there we are. We got that. It's Texans for me. Then I have the Jags at 6. I have the Colts, and then I have the Titans. And I could see a world where the Colts pass the Jaguars, to be honest, if Shane Steichen can get the best out of Danny Dimes. We'll see how this goes. Danny Dimes is you guys are sleeping on my mans. He's going to come out there, boy. You're going to be like, whoa.
Who's this guy?
You heard it here first, folks.
Not going to happen.
Shane Steichen did it with Carson Wentz. I'll take Daniel Jones over Carson Wentz every time. He's more mobile. I'll take it. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
and he did it with Carson Wentz. He can do it with Daniel Jones. He can't do it with Anthony Richardson because Anthony Richardson can't do it with Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson's like, I got him open, separate his shoulder. He's tearing his shoulder without even getting hit. So
he's got to take a mid-drive break too.
Yeah, I know, right? His rookie year had to get pulled out of the game. He's like, I'm tired.
Yeah,
he ran the ball like 6 plays in a row, buddy. So throw the football. Do what you're asked to do. But yeah, that wraps us up on the division there. You got anything else?
No, I actually have a division. I don't have a single team getting 10 wins, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Dang, dude. Well, You said that's the only one you don't have winning,
That is
getting
rough.
10 wins.
Yeah, the entire division. Neither one of those teams for me has 10 wins this year. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
terrible.
that brings us to the end here, boys. Good episode. That's our AFC North and AFC South preseason predictions. Again, we did this well before a lot of this news has dropped. But if you have not yet started following, go to Stop Capping Podcast on Twitter, Stop Capping Podcast on Instagram, Stop Capping Podcast on Facebook. I messed that up. Stop Capping Pod on Twitter, and Stop Capping Podcast here on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and as always, keep freaking pounding.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding, guys.
Go Panthers.
Go Panthers.